A very good morning, coming to you from a typically overcast and slightly wet Piccadilly. But that doesn't matter, because today we're at Hyde for breakfast. And the plan is simple. Work our way through as much of the menu as possible. Walking in, I'm taken upstairs, and the iconic sweeping oak staircase really never gets old. It opens out into a space filled with warm, natural wooden tones, with large floor-to-ceiling windows, allowing plenty of light in. Even on a grey morning like today, for those sat at the front, the scenic views over Green Park are impeccable. It's one of those rooms that just feels good to sit in. I start with a cappuccino while I wait for the others to arrive, and once we begin ordering, it very quickly becomes apparent that our table just isn't going to cut it. Almost immediately, we're shown through to one of their private dining rooms. Now, what I like about this space, it's open to the main dining room, so you don't lose the atmosphere, but at the same time, it gives us the room we're very clearly going to need. And if you're after privacy, then the doors can be closed. For breakfast, it's exclusively a la carte. They do offer tasting menus during lunch and dinner. The space is also co-owned by Hedonism Wines, so the spirits and wine program here is legendary. Although maybe not at 9 AM. Menus down, coffees in, food ordered, and with a table now big enough to handle what's coming, it was time to get started. First up came the juices. For me, apple and tarragon. Fresh, crisp, sweet, slightly acidic, and what was meant to be raspberry and pear, but I somehow ended up with a blueberry smoothie instead. Still bright, fruity, and refreshing. Although not really a fan of ice in my drinks. And then the sweet treats started to arrive, beginning with their viennoiseries. A scorched pumpkin and pecan croissant, a cylinder of flaky pastry filled right to the brim with a silky, smooth cream.
Oh, it's got a lovely bit of pumpkin spice to it. Not too rich or sweet either, really well balanced.
The pastry itself is sublime, the kind where one bite ends up scattering shards of crisp, caramelized flakes all over the table. Next was their French toast, served alongside a blueberry compote and a creme cru.
It looks so dense and moist. Never really been much of a French toast person.
This one didn't quite win it over for me. Although that being said, one of the others at the table said it was the best French toast they'd ever had. So take that how you will. Taking a bit of a break from the carbs, I moved over to their acai bowl with berries, perilla, and verbena. If you're like me and have never tried acai before, it's a type of berry native to the Amazon rainforest, known for its high antioxidants and fiber. On its own, it's fairly bitter and earthy, so it's usually blended with frozen fruit to add sweetness and create that thick, smoothie-like texture.
I've never had acai before, but that was actually really refreshing. Quite light. I like it.
Although I'm not entirely convinced that these are at all healthy. By the time you finish with the additives and the toppings, it feels closer to a sugar-laden dessert than a superfood. Still, I enjoyed it. Next was one of their signatures, which feels slightly ironic given it's essentially a couple of slices of mango, but the variety used here is the honey mango, dressed with Thai basil and kaffir lime.
That's really excellent. Thai basil has that perfect herbiness to cut through the sweetness. The mango itself, though, incredibly soft. It's excellent.
That was then followed by their porridge, served warm, made with coconut milk, and finished with a date and tamarind compote, a touch of rapeseed oil, and plenty of toasted coconut flakes.
That is hearty, warm, filling, very comforting. I love the addition of the coconut. The sweetness comes through from the tamarind as well. Excellent. I like porridge. I didn't know that.
Back to the viennoiseries, and this one is a chocolate and clementine croissant.
Oh, that's delicious.
Oh my god.
Delicious, I have to be honest.
Oh, it's incredible. The way that they've incorporated the chocolate and the orange, not overly sweet at all. I think I have the pastry, so far that's my favorite, but I don't think I'd be able to eat a full one of those.
And then onto the pain au chocolat. I normally avoid these, as I tend to find the bases can be thick, dense, saturated, and end up slightly soggy. But not here. Delightfully flaky, and I enjoyed the addition of cacao nibs, giving it that extra bit of crunch, while the dark chocolate baton ensured it wasn't too rich or overly sweet.
A bit of ASMR. Listen to the crunch.
Back to the healthy stuff with something a little lighter. A granola bowl laid with Greek yogurt, cranberries, and a lemon verbena curd.
I'm not a fan of Greek yogurt. In terms of Greek yogurt, I think it's very good. I just don't like Greek yogurt. Outside of the yogurt, the granola is extremely well made. Yeah, again, I love the addition where you get that tiny bit of extra texture from the poppy seeds. Very fresh, very seasonal.
And for the pastry finale, their classic croissant.
Look how crispy and flaky that is. Their pastry's excellent. Oh my god. That's got to be up there with one of the best croissants in London. God. We missed out something.
And that is their fresh seasonal fruits in a lemon verbena infusion.
This is beautiful. Really pretty.
And just before they cleared everything away, I had to go back for a couple more bites of that incredible honey mango. So far, really strong start, with a vast and diverse selection of dishes for all palates. Everyone seemed to find something that they enjoyed. The space here opened in 2018 by chef Ollie Debout and received its Michelin star just 6 months later. In late 2024, as Ollie stepped back from the day-to-day running of the kitchen, Josh Angus, who's been here since the early days, stepped in as chef director. And everything you see here today is made entirely in-house by their incredibly talented teams. Onto the savoury side now, and did somebody say poached eggs, English muffins and hollandaise? Yes please. They came in all forms, starting with the Florentine with spinach, the Royale with salmon, and of course the classic Benedict with ham. And just in case breakfast wasn't already feeling pompous enough, their iconic lobster Benedict, layered with crushed avocado, poached lobster tails, runny yolks, a glistening velvety hollandaise, and all topped with caviar. One bite. So this is a croque monsieur with the addition of fried egg and black truffle. I learned that once you add an egg, it becomes a croque madame. Although I took out the ham, so at this point, I'm not entirely sure what it officially is anymore. Either way, the contrast between the fluffy soft interior and the crisp outer layer, alongside that incredibly Moorish layer of grilled cheese, the creaminess from the yolk, and the delightfully intense and stretchy cheese. This one is easily one of my favourites. Just peak comfort food. Not entirely convinced the truffle is needed here though. Onto something a little more delicate, and a gift from the kitchen. They're truffled scrambled eggs on toast, topped with shaved white truffles.
The eggs feel so light and fluffy. That just disappears into your mouth.
Next was the same dish again, except this time it was topped with black truffles.
Oh my god.
Piles of the fluffiest scrambled eggs nestled on a thick and equally fluffy brioche, just ever so lightly toasted. I'm definitely a fan of these, although I prefer the white truffle one. I feel it's slightly more subtle and doesn't overshadow the delicate flavour of the eggs. A visually stunning dish catches my eye, and it's their buckwheat waffle pancake layered with smoked salmon, cream cheese and herbs.
Beautifully presented, but I'm not the biggest fan of smoked salmon and cream cheese.
This one was really well done. From the acidity of the pickled onions to the added crunch from the herbs and seeds topping the pancake, really well balanced. This was followed by the English breakfast with streaky bacon, black pudding, pork sausage, alongside eggs, tomato, mushroom, and some sourdough bread. Though I didn't actually try any of this, visually this plate is a little sorry looking. Flavor-wise though, the feedback was positive. And finally, yet another visually striking dish with a crushed avocado on grilled sourdough topped with an entire bouquet with a herb dressing. No real notes here, it's exactly as you'd expect.
Definitely feels healthy.
And if you want, there's an option to add a couple of poached eggs, but I think I've had plenty already. Back for some quick seconds before packing things up.
These truffle scrambled eggs are just naughty. Just completely naughty.
It's coffee time. Even for coffee, they have an impressive menu. And of course, for true completion of the menu, I felt some oysters were in order. These were the Malden variety, topped with caviar, and Andrea graciously offered to handle the tasting duties here. Some of you will know I'm not exactly the biggest fan of raw oysters, but the next thing you know...
Oh, beautiful. And then you can chew it, you don't have to swallow it. Chew it.
No.
The total for breakfast today, including Andrea's graciously extended F&F discount and excluding all of the kindly complimented items from the kitchen, came to just over £500. Well, I have just finished up our hide. The space is comfortable, warm, casual, and absolutely gorgeous. It's the kind of room that just feels so easy to relax into. Nothing formal, nothing intimidating, just a calm, welcoming setting to start the day. The service was friendly, casual, and easygoing, and the staff more or less existed in the background. There when we needed them, but not hovering around otherwise. The trade-off is, glasses were empty sometimes, but overall, the team members we interacted with were warm, helpful, friendly, and genuinely pleasant to deal with. And then of course, the food. The food here really leans into that vibrant colour, fresh seasonal produce, and really high quality ingredients. Nothing felt overcomplicated, but nothing felt lacking either. Just clean, confident cooking. Out of everything we tried, the standouts for me were the croissant, the seasoned mango, the truffle scrambled eggs, and the croque monsieur. A few things leaned a bit sweet, rich, and intense for my palate, but I still enjoyed a bite of everything. Well, besides the oyster. And as usual, thank you for watching. On to the next one. Goodbye.